The Pollsmor prison in South Africa is one of the most dangerous prisons in Africa and home to one of the most dangerous prison gangs in the world, the Numbers Gang. A gang so powerful that it runs all prisons in South Africa and even have their own language. In Pollsmor prison, the Numbers Gang basically run the whole prison, and even the prison guards here have no say. With over half the prison mates being part of the Numbers Gang, it's known that the prison system here is used to break people, not rehabilitate them. And the prisoners here obey the Numbers Gang more than they obey the prison guards. Nelson Mandela was arrested in this prison that is run by this gang that has existed for over 250 years. The gang is so powerful that it runs like a government in prison, being categorized in 3 groups, the 26, 27s and 28s, with the 28s acting like the directors and leaders, the 27 policy makers and guardians of the law, and the 26, the economic and finance guys that work on finances and money. The gangs have their own laws that are followed by both inmates and prison guards, and this is how they govern and control the whole prison. With the relationship of the prison guards and inmates being 1 to 100, the prison authorities have been forced to work with the prison gangs, forcing some of the prison guards to even be part of the gangs. Every new inmate that is admitted to every prison in South Africa is subjected to the ways of the Numbers Gang, and it's either you join the gang or be a slave to the gang. So let's say you've been arrested and taken to Pollsmor prison, which is the biggest prison in South Africa. On your first day, which is usually the worst day, you'll be approached by a few people who are usually members of the gang, the 26. And the question they ask every new inmate is, who are you in prison?
You speak English?
Yes.
Who are you in prison?
And the answer to this question is usually one of these 2 answers, a gang member or an ungang member. And your answer will basically determine your future for the rest of your prison life, and if you'll be safe during your time in prison or not. The people asking these questions, the 26, are usually sent by the 27s and 28s. And if your answer is a gang member, you'll basically be asked which of the numbers would you like to join, be it 26, 27 or 28. And for those who choose to be non-gang members, go through hell in prison. Because if you choose to be a non-gang member, you'll basically have to pay the gangs for protection or will be subjected to beatings and abuse. The gang simply consider non-gang members as non-humans or animals and treat them so, with cells meant for 15 people having up to 100 people and people being locked up from 19 to 23 hours. Everyone in these cells must adopt to the routine of the gangs, especially those who have just arrived in prison. The first night in Pollsmor prison is usually the scariest because the gangs allow you to peek into the dangers of prison. On the first night, in a cell with over 100 people, you will witness fights, men being stabbed, men being beaten, all in the first night. Now, for those who choose to be gang members are safe because they know they'll be protected, but for those who choose to be non-gang members are scared to the max because all the abuse and beatings happening around will soon be happening to them. For the new gang members, after they accept to join the gangs, they have to go through an initiation process in order to remain gang members. The initiation process is usually the hardest part for every new member. For the new members, in order to remain in the gangs, the law of the numbers demands that they must stab an innocent person, be it a prison guard or an inmate. If they choose to stab a prison guard, it will basically be risking one's life, because once an inmate is caught stabbing a prison guard, they are thoroughly beaten by the guards, which may lead to a person losing their eyes, being disabled, or even death. And if a person chooses not to stab anyone, they'll be kicked out of the gang and become non-gang members, meaning they'll be subjected to abuse and beatings in prison. So it's usually a do or die situation. And if an inmate chooses to stab a person, there's no turning back. It's either they stab that person or they themselves will be stabbed. The initiation process means that the prison guards are under constant threat in prison, but they usually don't have any choice. The situation might seem out of control, but it has been like this for many years. The stabbing of prison guards inside the prison basically means a promotion for every guard you stab. The generals, who are the gang leaders, are said to have stabbed the most prison guards or inmates. The generals usually have stars tattooed on their shoulders, more like army generals, with each star representing every prison guard they have killed, with the highest rank having 4 stars on each shoulder, making them 8 stars, meaning 8 prison guards died in their arms. The generals usually control everything and everyone inside these prison walls, including the prison guards and inmates. The gang generals are said to make the most money inside prison, with some making up to $50,000 per month, mostly through extortion of other inmates, mostly non-gang members, which explains why inmates here obey gangs more than they do guards. The Numbers gang is a 250-year-old gang, which basically started outside the prison walls. The prison system has tried to contain these gangs, mostly by trying to separate the gang members from the non-gang members, but due to overpopulation, they end up mixing, and therefore more people being recruited. The Numbers gang has grown over the years to be the most powerful prison gang, not only in South Africa, but the whole of Africa, such that it reached a point where the South African prison system could not control these gangs. Due to this, going to prison has become a nightmare for every South African. Young men who join these gangs with short sentences end up with very long sentences due to gang activities, which is very disappointing. So please, avoid crime. Going to prison is not something that I'd wish on my worst enemy. So let's avoid crime and avoid prison. Anyway, what's up guys? My name is Kix Lion, and we make videos based on lifestyle, culture, and entertainment. Subscribe and like for more, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.